In the closing segment of this morning's Backchat, we're going to look at proposals to bring back the mechanism for the voluntary reporting of unauthorised building works in village houses. A consultation exercise by the government has just closed on the whole issue of unlawful structures, and the Secretary of Development did suggest earlier on during the consultation exercise that this voluntary scheme that applied in rural areas previously might now be reintroduced, essentially a product of just the very large number of illegal structures in rural areas, and the fact that the government wouldn't actually have the manpower to address them for many years to come. Joining us to discuss this issue, perhaps also broaden out to the issue of illegal structures in Hong Kong generally. Initially, we have Marvin Chen. Marvin Chen is the past president of the Hong Kong Institute of Architects. Good morning, Mr. Chen. Welcome to Backchat.
Good morning.
So this proposal, basically what they're saying is just there are too many illegal structures in the rural areas. I think they're talking about maybe 100,000. The government doesn't have the manpower to check them all, so why not have a voluntary reporting system with a grace period instead? Have I got that correct?
Yes, but that's only one of the considerations. Actually, the current review of the entire building control regime is include both the new territories, in house, as well as the normal development in the rural area, which is subject to the buildings ordinance. So actually, the building department, the proposal is actually relaxing on both fronts, citing similar reasons to take a pragmatic and facilitating approach to unauthorized building works, not just in the new territory exempt house, but also in the rural house. So I see that reason actually is applicable to both. So it's not a special sort of treatment, but in general, that is also applicable to all. But because of the unique situation and the history of the new terrace house, so they have this administrative schemes before. So I think they just that's why they introduced the scheme at the request of some of the villagers and legislative council members. But I think the underlying principle are pretty much, or the thinking behind are pretty much the same for the these review of the buildings ordinance at the same time.
Marvin, good morning. Thank you for joining Backchat. This is Tony. I just want to ask a question about what kind of design strategies or features can architects, engineers incorporate to make it harder for these property owners to add illegal structures such as unauthorized rooftop extensions or basements and things like that?
You mean the provisions?
Yes.
Actually, those are unauthorized. I mean, normally in the normal design, we do have some sort of safety factor. We allow the extra reserve in the loading that is normally required. But of course, if you put on some minor works on top of these existing structures, they may not impose a serious or maybe only a minor effect on the overall stability and safety. So that's how we would consider whether it's a major threat or it's a minor risk.
Okay, we're discussing the suggestion that the government bring back the mechanism for voluntary reporting of unauthorised building works in village houses and new territories, and also looking at the issue of illegal structures in Hong Kong generally. You just heard Marvin Chen, who from the Hong Kong, past president of the Hong Kong Institute of Architects. We're now also joined on the line by Christine Fong. Christine Fong is Sai Kung District Councillor and Chartered Engineer. Good morning, Ms. Fong. Welcome to Backchat.
Good morning, everybody.
Now, I guess a lot of unauthorised structures in Sai Kung, like all over the new territories. Do you support the government reintroducing this voluntary scheme?
I support this voluntary reporting scheme. In fact, it was first launched in 2012, and under the building department, they expect every 5 years the appointed person can report, help those owners of the village house to report to the building department. So right now they relaunch and probably rearrange a little bit, and also putting in electrical for further support. Then I think that would be a better situation for all those owners who are having a minor illegal structure in their village house. That would be good for all the people. In my area, like for example, like in Sai Kung, Seawater Bay, or some part of in Cheung Kwan O, understand that there are still a large number of cases, but with limited manpower from building department. So I think that will be help if the department has to prioritize its enforcement action in a rather pragmatic way or risk-based approach.
Yes.
So that is to rectify the cases with obvious hazard or imminent danger. So I think that it will be helpful.
Ms. Fong, you just mentioned manpower issues at the buildings department and how it sounds like the manpower is maybe not enough. Is this why you feel that the government has introduced or bring back the mechanism for the voluntary reporting of the unauthorized building works?
I think so. That is one of the reasons because of the manpower. But of course, we are only focusing on those risk-based, lower risk cases to have that kind of voluntary reporting scheme. So, of course, the village house owners have to appoint authorized person or RPE or at least technical person, T2, to report those kind of structure safe or any illegal structure which would be would be still tolerant in building department by the building department. So that is one of the reasons, probably because of the manpower. And second, is most important is we did mention throughout the years, we did mention some of the minor works. For example, like air conditioner rack of the air conditioners on the outside of the building and as well as some drying rack, or even some solar panel on the rooftop, or even I think recently building the lands department also allowing 50% of the rooftop has been covered by in each of the rooftop area. So 50% out of 700 square foot is allowed as a to put solar panel. So that kind of green and that kind of green issues that allowed it for villagers to install or as a reasonable manner. So that is also one of the reasons I think that can allow by using voluntary reporting scheme to facilitate that kind of approach.
Christine Fong, isn't one of the problems that sometimes the property owners may not even know that these are, especially if these structures have existed for a long time when they bought the property? I know the solicitor should warn them, but they may not even realise that these are illegal structures.
That is true. That is true. So that's why I think the government may allow. So of course, it's risk-based approach by using this kind of things to have more in a caring and reasonable manner to taking care of the existing building. But I think for the building under construction, or say the new building, I think they have to follow the requirement or following the deed of the lands from the lands department. So I think for the old building, say as you mentioned, like many years ago, probably even the property owners or even the property agent may not know that detail. But nowadays, once this kind of planning has been changed, or with or safety certification written and certified by qualified person, and with the owner's agreement, and also they need to also do the consent on that kind of paper. So everybody should know in the future, so it won't have something that you won't know. So I think in a new building, we will have a new scheme and new and safety area in our area.
Mr. Chen, I just want to ask you, I mean, how, in your opinion, how feasible will it be for property owners, especially in village houses, to comply with these new regulations if they, to adjust any kind of minor works done? Do you think, for the most part, depending on the type of structure, that it should be, if they have given enough time and notice, it should be okay for owners to fix?
Well, actually, it's similar to the minor works system that I remember I've come and to discuss before in this program. And that was introduced in the 2012, okay? And so actually, if at that point of time, actually it's already a late call to respond to our request of years to have a revamp of the building control in Hong Kong, especially regarding what is termed as unauthorized building works. So we are talking about minor works. Those were very low risk and very associated with people's daily life. It's out of necessity. So these kind of things already, we have this regime in place. So, and after almost 12 or 30 years of running, actually, I think all the society would be should be very familiar with, reasonably familiar with the regime and items. And actually, this review or revamp of the ordinance would also include more designated exempt works and also relax the minor works. So for those things, items, according to the suggestion, actually they can be, they need to be regularly inspected. Of course, they need to inspect it to ascertain their safety in the first place, which is the most important considerations for retaining them, and then they have a regular review. I think that is reasonable to this. This is pragmatic to take care of the people's needs, as well as making sure that those will become a hazard to the public safety.
Ms. Fong, do you see any potential challenges for people to comply with the resumption of the reporting mechanism and enforcing these regulations? Is there any kind of potential problems that you think might occur?
I think, firstly, I agree with Marvin that the situation and the procedures, what happened to, and the background before, since 2012. So now is almost have 12 years to go, and I think some of the residents they realize this scheme before. Probably nowadays we put it into the bureau and see whether we construct this kind of audience again. So I think they should. I think education to or promoting more news about this kind of new regulation is important for those villagers. Knowing that the government plan to launch this relaunch this scheme again, so I think they may some of the new owners they may not aware to they need to report this kind of UBW, unauthorized building works again. So I think promoting this new regulation again is important, and I think one of the good point that is that government is allowing some reasonable or green and amenities items surrounded in the village house area. So
like solar panel, like the solar panels, right?
Exactly. Before it's not allowed, and as well as the 50% of the rooftop, if you are installing solar panel, that is also allowed. So that kind of items are more reasonable for village owners, village house owners. So I think that will sort out a little bit more, problem in a way. So for my another point of view is we are having a fiscal deficit. The government may consider. I'm thinking can they granting exemption in the form of payment of land premium, like punitive fines or government rent to those with no immediate danger, that can also increase the government revenue in a way. If there's, as Marvin mentioned, for those houses with minor risk, which is outside of this kind of list, but they are still minor risk because for those village houses, we are all built in a rather scattered area, and you won't hurt or have any obvious hazard to other houses. So that kind of situation may, I'm thinking, the government may consider granting more exemption in a form of payment instead of just suing them or having other choices, especially in illegal structure in general, not only the village house. I would say there are many difficulties in those complex, or the large complex, or not village house. There's some luxury house in Hong Kong. I think that kind of thing can also consider.
Thank you very much. We are out of time there. Thank you very much. That was Christine Fong, Sai Kung District Councillor and Chartered Engineer. Thanks also to Marvin Chen, past president of the Hong Kong Institute of Architects, and of course Tony joining me with the show this morning.
Pleasure joining you, Danny.
As always, tomorrow it will be Brian Wong and CM Chan on a global focus on Friday's Backchat. So do join us again then.